Hey y'all, welcome back to Movement Link. So I want to talk about a super common thing that we see with our new people coming into the gym. It doesn't matter if they're a beginner new to working out or if they're experienced and have worked out a lot. A lot of people are coming into the gym with tight hips, especially for the hip flexion spot. And this is going to be a huge limiting factor in your ability to do a lot of obstacles in the obstacle course races. So think about it. Actually, let's first just talk about kind of the restrictions we see. First of all, we have two movement tests that we like to do with people that you can do following on at home. I've got videos on each of these, and I've got a whole page dedicated to these on movementlink.fit. But anyway, the first one's going to be the stiff-legged hip hinge. And this is just to kind of test your hip capsule. Is your hip capsule moving the way it should? And is your posterior chain, bottom of the foot, calf, Achilles, hamstrings, butt, up the back and into the neck, or is that tissue system able to move the way that it should? For us here in the gym, if we don't have the ability to stay tight without overextending or rounding, we don't have the ability to, with almost straight legs, get down to like mid shin level, we're going to be limited, especially when we're picking things up off the ground and all these other things. Setting up for deadlifts, clean snatches, a lot of things like that. So the other test is pretty simple, and this is just the test, is it your hip capsule? So we're going to take the posterior chain element out of it, and we're just going to get nice and tight. You can hold on to something, but how high, what kind of angle can we get here with your leg? What we see is people starting out, a lot of them only have 90 degrees here, where we need a lot more ability for that hip to flex. We also see either through that posterior chain or the hip, the ability to only go down here before that back and stuff starts to round over the issue. So what this causes is a lot of compensation early and really the inability to get into positions. So when you're out on these obstacle courses, you need to be able to put your hands on something, and it's almost like rock climbing. It's a huge advantage if you have this hip flexion to get your foot up on something. It's a huge advantage if you're climbing a rope to be able to get those feet up higher. If you're holding onto a bar, to get those feet up higher to wrap around the bar. It's a huge advantage if you're able to set up around that Atlas stone and around the tire without getting into these compromised positions. So if you're really looking to up your game in the obstacle courses, okay, we really want to focus on that hip health. We do this by not only doing mobility exercises, working on that hip joint, working on the posterior chain, among other things, but we also do it just by making sure that our training includes using our hip through these ranges of motion that we need in the obstacle course races. So make sure that you're training not just for cardio, okay, that we're training to develop skills and mobility and basically functionality of your body that translate directly into the things you want to do in your life. And the functional nature of this hip range of motion is not just for obstacle courses. It can be for everything, every sport, everything in real life. So make sure that your training has those extra layers and you're not just doing things that are hard because they're hard. You're doing things in a way where it's hard to build your fitness, but you also want to build that layer of skill and mobility so you can have longevity in the sport, really just being able to do whatever you want to do, but also these little bitty things that we're talking about, moving the needle, the ability to get your leg from here to here can be an enormous advantage as when you're trying to be efficient and effective on a lot of these obstacles. Hope that perspective helps. Talk to y'all soon.